For most people, whenever TF2 is brought up, one of the first things that come to mind are the Meet the Team videos. These shorts have actually managed to become more known than the games themselves, with the entire series accumulating over 187,500,000 views between both the Valve and TF2 channels. These shorts were incredibly important in the game's exposure to the general gaming public, and was very important in the game's popularity and possibly longevity. The Meet the Team videos, absolute classics within all that encompasses TF2, and for a good reason. Actually, many good reasons. Aside from the fact that they're shorts that showcase the personalities of the game's colorful cast of characters, I believe they were very important factors in the game we got today, and part of how it managed to stick around as long as it has. The first reason is that the shorts inevitably acted as good exposure to those unaware of the game. Although they started off being confined on the game's website before YouTube became a mainstream video sharing platform, they later started getting uploaded there in 2009. This was the beginning of the series' accessibility. From this point on, each Meet the Team video was uploaded directly to YouTube, which allowed anyone to come across them. Being originally confined to the TF2 website meant that only fans of the game would come across them. The only new players and people that would end up watching these are people that were specifically searching up the game, meaning they were already people who were interested in the game. With YouTube quickly becoming a popular place for even the most normal people, yes, I'm taking a jab at all us weirdos who play video games way too much. This meant videos uploaded to the site could have potentially been seen by anyone who popped into the site. YouTube gave TF2 so much exposure to people who weren't familiar with the game beforehand. Even people who don't play games at all were bound to at one point or another at least see one of the shorts floating around, even if they didn't really look into it. They were still exposed to its unique style and the name of the game, which even in itself is good. If a person who sees the shorts enjoys it, but doesn't necessarily look into playing the game, they might still spread awareness of its existence through word of mouth by sharing it to their friends who do have the possibility of getting into the game. However, I would argue that had TF2 come out just a few years later, its popularity would have been much higher than what it managed to achieve when it came out and up until now. If you look at this graph of the popularity of Team Fortress 2 as a search term, then you'll notice it spikes when Meet the Team shorts were released. Take into mind the years in which most of the shorts came out. They were at the very early stages of YouTube becoming as accessible and mainstream as it has become today. If the game and Meet the Team series had released just a few years later, I firmly believe that it might have gotten even more popular than it did, even if it had gone through the exact same update structure. Additionally, a big factor in the reason why the shorts were so important was that each one tended to correlate with a large update, at least once they got to the shorts that were being released after the game launched. Meet the Scout gave us the Gold Rush update. Spyper gave us the Pyro update for some reason. Spy gave us the fantastic Sniper vs. Spy update, Medic gave us the Uber update, and Pyro gave us Pyromania. 3 of these updates are considered some of the best updates the game has ever received, and all of them being tied in the shorts was great PR. Not only did the release of the Meet the Team shorts give existing fans excitement for the update it brought with it, but the short acted like a trailer for not necessarily just the update, but the game itself. Lastly, for this point of exposure, all the Meet the Team shorts can all act as standalone videos. None of them specifically really tie in enough to the update they were paired in with, in a way in which viewers would have to be aware of the update in order to understand that. That is, in and of itself, a part of the beauty of the series. You don't necessarily have to know the source material in order to enjoy it, but if you do, it just heightens the enjoyment of it. Now, I'm going to awkwardly transition us into the second main point of this video essay. The shorts showcase the personality of the game. A big thing the Meet the Team videos did for TF2 was explain the humor and characterizations within the game. From the get-go, TF2 did indeed have a colorful cast of characters that was exemplified by the art style, but if you go back and look, the beginning of the game only laid down a very shallow basis for the characters' personalities. The mercs weren't anywhere near as colorful as they are nowadays. Their voice lines were pretty limited and didn't give a chance to show a developed personality, but as time went on, they were given more character traits through voice lines, comics, and most importantly, the Meet the Team series. which really kicked off all of their character expansions and gave the game the opportunity to fly into people's radars that may never have had the chance to. People like different games for different reasons. Some people play games for the gameplay and mechanics, while some play it for the world the game presents and the characters. The Meet the Team shorts were showcases for the characters and humor rather than the actual gameplay. Because of the way the series was handled, it focused on fleshing out the characters' personalities, which in turn became a great way to gain interest of people who may not have been interested in the game's gameplay. Over the years, I've met many people who were introduced to TF2 through the Meet the Team shorts and subsequently sucked into the game because of it. Many fans of the game also don't really play the game for one reason or another, but are simply there for the world and characters it gives us, and honestly, I think that's okay. In anything that can amass a fan base, there are going to be different sorts of fans and different reasons as to why they're a fan of that something. Like what I used to be, for example, way back when I hated FPS games with a burning passion due to the people I grew up around. For me, I enjoyed games with personality, creativity, and a non-snore-inducing art style, and I was convinced FPS games couldn't achieve that until I saw the Meet the Team shorts. I originally fell for TF2 due to its humor, characters, and art style rather than its gameplay.
But Skymin, the Meet the Team shorts are bad game trailers. They don't even show any gameplay.
Well, now you aren't entirely wrong, but you aren't entirely right. Let me explain. The Meet the Team videos do actually try to show what each merc's job is. Sort of. Again, they're shorts that aim at fleshing out the character's personality as opposed to showing exactly what they can do in-game. However, that doesn't mean they entirely ignore that aspect. Meet the Heavy shows viewers that Heavy is a force to be reckoned with, a force that will mow through the masses. Meet the Engineer shows that the NG provides aerial denial and base protection, and Meet the Sniper shows that he's a sniper. Okay, you really don't need much showing for that one. All of them give the viewers a general idea of how each class works within the game, even if it's a shallow idea with many inaccuracies. So no, it isn't wrong in negatively critiquing them for not plainly telling the viewer how the characters play, since the series does lack in doing a solid job of that. But it's not like they don't do that at all. Instead, they're more focused on fleshing the characters out, and with what I said before, how a majority of the series released after the game came out, I think it was the right thing for them to do. The gameplay had already been set in stone, and people had easy access to seeing gameplay of it in order to determine if that type of game was up their alley. The Meet the Team shorts took advantage of this and used them as an opportunity to instead focus on what would become an incredibly colorful and memorable cast of characters. Nowadays, cinematic trailers and shorts often get a lot of flack due to not actually showcasing any gameplay and have become a major complaint within the gaming community. Some of these cinematic trailers are so vague that people can't even figure out what genre the game is in. But that's in today's day and age. You have to remember that Valve started dropping these shorts all the way back in 2007. Promotional materials such as this wasn't a common thing back then. The type of style that these shorts went for were unique, and here's where Meet the Team series stands out. Before the series began dropping, TF2 was getting close to its launch date and already had trailers which went over how each class was meant to work. Okay, maybe not the very first trailer. I'm not even sure what the engineer being up on a silo is meant to tell you. But the first trailer was meant to act as a vague introduction for who the classes were, and trailer 2 followed up on that by actually showing some of what the classes could do, even if a lot of the stuff shown ended up being replaced or removed from the game. I believe that without the Meet the Team series, TF2 wouldn't have reached the recognizability and popularity that it did. While in recent years, TF2 has been struggling a bit to keep a presence and stay afloat in the myriad of quote-unquote similar games, with a neglecting company behind its back, TF2 has always been tried and true and has stuck around for 3 main reasons: its gameplay, its characters, and its community. Of course, the topic we've discussed today focuses on the characters, and it wouldn't have been the case if the Meet the Team shorts were never made. Not only did the shorts being eventually uploaded to a mainstream video sharing site allow the game to be seen by the masses, but the shorts catered to different types of fans and helped gain the interest of people who may have never gotten into the game just for its gameplay. These shorts were an integral part in what TF2 was able to become leading up to the day the last short premiered and the days passed.